Have you ever had the strange feeling that you're not learning something new, but remembering something you've known before, like a quiet sense of truth deep inside you is starting to resurface, something familiar, yet you can't quite explain where it comes from? It's a peculiar feeling, almost like a memory without a clear origin, because you can't point to when you were taught it, and yet it feels undeniably real, and the more you pay attention to it, the stronger it becomes, which makes you wonder whether this is random at all or if you're actually reconnecting with something you forgot long ago. This is something many people begin to experience as they grow, not in a religious sense, but in a deeply personal and internal way, where there's no doctrine, no rules, no external authority guiding it, because it doesn't come from a book or a belief system, it comes from within, and that's exactly what makes it feel so powerful and, at times, so confusing. We're taught to look outward for answers from a young age, conditioned to believe that knowledge comes from education, experts, and systems that define what's right and wrong. But this feeling doesn't follow those rules, because it feels deeper and more instinctive, like something that has always existed within you rather than something you've recently discovered. You might notice it in quiet moments when you step away from noise, distractions, and constant input, and suddenly there's a sense of clarity that isn't loud or overwhelming, but calm and certain, almost like a gentle knowing that doesn't demand belief, but simply feels true in a way that's hard to ignore. What makes this different is that it isn't about faith in the traditional sense, nor is it about adopting a label or following a structured path, because instead it's about recognizing something within yourself that was always there, just buried under years of conditioning, expectations, and unconscious patterns. When you begin to see that, it can feel unsettling, because so much of what you believe about success, identity, purpose, and even happiness has been shaped by external influences. And as that internal awareness grows stronger, those borrowed ideas start to feel less solid, less convincing, and less aligned with who you truly are. This is where the sense of remembering becomes more noticeable, because it isn't about recalling facts or specific events, but about reconnecting with a deeper awareness that changes how you see yourself and the world around you, allowing you to notice patterns not only in your environment but also within your own thoughts, reactions, and behaviors. Instead of being caught in those patterns, you begin to observe them, which creates space between you and your automatic responses. And in that space, you gain the ability to choose differently, to respond with intention rather than habit, and to question whether something genuinely aligns with you or if it's simply something you've always done without thinking. This is what spiritual growth can look like without religion, because it isn't about rituals, rules, or following a prescribed path, but about becoming more conscious and aware of your inner world, your thoughts, your patterns, and your presence in everyday life, which naturally leads to a deeper sense of clarity and understanding. As this awareness develops, you may find yourself trusting yourself more, not in an ego-driven way, but in a quiet and grounded sense, where that inner voice becomes clearer and easier to recognize, guiding you without force and without the need for constant external validation. At the same time, this process can feel disorienting, because as you begin to reconnect with who you are beneath the layers, those layers start to fall away, including old beliefs, identities, and ways of thinking that no longer feel true, which can create a sense of loss even though it's actually a form of growth. You might feel disconnected from people, conversations, or environments that once felt natural, not because you're becoming distant, but because you're becoming more aligned with yourself, and that alignment often changes what resonates with you and what no longer does. There may also be moments where you question yourself, wondering if you're overthinking or imagining things, but this isn't about losing touch with reality. It's about seeing it more clearly and gaining a perspective that allows you to live more intentionally rather than automatically. It's important, though, to stay grounded throughout this process, because this isn't about rejecting the world or withdrawing from it, but about engaging with it in a more conscious way, where simple things like a quiet moment, a genuine conversation, or a sense of calm begin to hold more meaning than constant stimulation. Over time, you start to realize that clarity doesn't come from adding more to your life, but from removing what isn't necessary. And as that happens, the feeling of remembering becomes less unfamiliar and more like a natural part of how you experience life. You don't need to label it or explain it to everyone, because not everyone will understand it, and that's completely fine, since this is your personal experience, your awareness, and your journey back to something that was never truly lost, only forgotten. So if you've been feeling this lately, if there's a quiet sense within you that something is shifting and resurfacing, don't ignore it and don't rush to define it, but instead allow yourself to simply notice it and sit with it, because you're not searching for something outside yourself, you're remembering something within, and that changes everything. If this resonated with you, I'd genuinely love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and if you want more content like this, don't forget to subscribe. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.